I really wanted to have hair like the bear on the Hair Bear movie. Oh, sorry, I gotta go. Hi everybody, good morning. Chef Chris here, Papacona Restaurant. Got another great day for you ahead of us. We're gonna be doing a trip to Mexico today. We're gonna be making a very, very great dish. It's actually called ceviche. Now, ceviche can be done a lot of different ways. You can use any kind of fish that you like. Works great, scallops work great. I'm gonna be using shrimp today. So we're gonna make a wonderful shrimp ceviche. Now, like a lot of recipes, this is a very simple, straightforward recipe. There's not a lot of ingredients. I've already taken the time to chop some jalapeno pepper here. I'm gonna demonstrate how to chop a serrano pepper, okay? That's a very hot pepper. I like my ceviche to be a little bit on the spicy side. I've got a beautiful tomato here. This is one of our local tomatoes here in Hawaii. The beautiful beefsteak tomato looks gorgeous. A couple of things here. If you zoom in, what I like to do is when you're picking citrus fruit, and that goes for an orange, lemons, limes, what you want to look for when you're choosing your citrus fruit is you look at the skin and the flesh. It's very, very smooth. This is going to be the more juicy of the two limes. If you notice this one, it's much more pitted and pockmarked. That's not going to be as juicy as the smooth skin. So whenever you're choosing your citrus fruit, try that. You'll find that the smooth skin are much juicier than the pockmarked skin. Okay? Same for lemons. I got a very smooth lemon here, as smooth as I could find it. Okay? And right here, what I have is I have a little bit of cilantro. Okay? And you'll notice I have 3 water stations set up. I'm gonna do what's called a triple wash. This is a great thing to do with things that grow in the dirt, like cilantro. It can get quite dirty in rainy seasons, so it gets a little bit more dirt on it than normal. This actually happens to be quite clean. So I'm just gonna dip it right there. I've got my oil already going so we can get the sizzle early. We're gonna be doing some tortilla chips. I gotta be careful, there's water here and oil there. Water and oil don't mix equals a big explosion. I don't feel like having a bunch of oil in my face today, so I'm gonna be rather careful when I do that. That's great. So that's all done. I'll put my water in here and I'll just discard it right down below here. Excuse me for disappearing on you. And I'll get my cilantro ready. So that's all done. We're ready to go. Okay? So what I'm going to do is start doing my mise en place. I'm going to do my vegetables first. Now, several videos ago, I've shown you how to cut your onion in half. I want a little bit more of a refined, finer dice on this. I showed you the one way of going parallel to the cutting board and then vertically down. I'm going to show you another technique today that sometimes I like to teach. So I'm going to peel my skin off as usual. Then I'm just merely going to take off a couple of layers like that. See? Then I'll just separate the layers, okay? Set that to the side. And then I'll just smash it down and work my knife right down the line, keeping my fingers out of the way. That last one. Sometimes there's many schools of thought on cutting onions to keep you from crying. I've heard about a million different ways. And I've heard put a matchstick in your mouth, put a piece of stale bread in your mouth. I've seen chefs go as crazy as wrapping their head in cellophane, believe it or not. I have. So again, not going to scoop with my knife, I'm going to merely scoop with my hands, and I'm going to get that right there next to my jalapeno. Now I'm going to turn my attention to the serrano. Anyway, back to the burning onions. One of the things that I actually learned that seemed to be the best, and I actually learned it from a child in my former life, at my cooking camp for kids, is wet your hands, because the oils actually attach, they try and seek out moisture. The moisture in your eyes is where that onion gas goes to, but if your hands are wet, it actually kind of adheres to that. It's actually kind of a cool little trick, and I'm surprised on where I learned it. So these are kind of tricky to cut. Got to be careful of the seeds. The seeds and the vein in here, that holds most of your heat. So I don't want this to be super spicy where it blows somebody's head off. I just want to, I'm going to add in about half of this serrano pepper. Okay? Just going to clean out those seeds. Clean that off. Okay? Now, very delicately, try and keep my fingers out of the way again. Sometimes these are tough to do with gloves on. Okay, again, I'm going to go for a nice fine chop here. Okay, now you'll notice I'm doing all my vegetable mise en place first because I don't want to put my, did I just do what I've been teaching not to do? Probably. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. We'll now turn our attention to our tomato. Some people say tomato. Tomato. Okay, here's what we're gonna do. You see the center here, of course, right? So a lot of people, again, always want to go through the center. I don't go through the center. I cut around the center, okay? I'm gonna cut around the center. I'm gonna flip it, cut around the center again. Now I have this. I can cut through this, and then I have the core ready to discard. Bye-bye. Okay? So what I'm going to do now is, this technique is a seeding of the tomato. I don't want to have those seeds in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that piece in half, and I'm merely going to take my knife very gently, be very careful doing this, cutting towards your finger, and I'm going to take out that insides like that, right? Like that. Okay? Now, I can take that step one step further if I wanted, and this would be what's called in French cooking called tomato concasse, which when you're taught in culinary school, what you do first is you heat up the tomato skin so it comes off. So you just remove the tomato skin like that. You heat it up and then peel it off hot. I've always found that I can get the same effect by just filleting the tomato like that. I actually kind of want to keep the skin on this, keep the integrity of it. Okay, my oil's talking to me now. I know it's up to temperature, which is great. So we'll put this dish together rather quickly. Again, a lot of my teaching, you guys will notice that I have recipes that are actually very, very kid-friendly, that you can work with your children in the kitchen and do these dishes. So I've got my tomato here already done. And then the last one is going to be a little bit of cucumber that I've already peeled. So once again, to show you guys this, I'm going to cut it in half. I'm going to scrape out the seeds, the center, okay? Just going to scrape that out like that. Okay, very good. Scrape out the seeds on this one. So I'll just do this half over here because I've already got a lot of it already cut. So I just want a nice little rough chop. This is not a fine dining gourmet dish by any stretch of the imagination. If I really was working in a upper echelon French restaurant where a chef would actually measure your knife cuts to be quite precise, this is much more of a homey, rustic dish, if you will. Very simple to do. And again, if you're cutting cucumbers with children, just give them a butter knife. They can get the job done with that. Very, very simply. So our mise en place is done. That's great. We'll turn our attention over here to our shrimp. Now, actually that's going to be through the magic of TV. Okay, so what I've done is I actually didn't bring up my raw shrimp of all things of production. Bad production today, sorry about that. So you guys are going to suspend disbelief. Imagine that this is a raw shrimp, okay? So what I did with my shrimp is I actually bisected it in half because I wanted to keep the integrity of the shrimp, okay? Wanted to keep the integrity of the shrimp. I put it into a bowl and then I took my lime juice. All I did was cut my lime in half. So when you're cutting a lime, key thing, and this is another one of my wife's tricks that she taught me a long time ago, is cut it across the equator, if you will, okay? Then I'm going to put this right into my little handy dandy machine. This is a great little tool. And then I'm going to merely squeeze out that lime juice. Like so. Okay? Great. So now I'm going to start to build the dish. Now, when you start with a raw shrimp, the color of the shrimp is going to be a gray tone. It's going to be a gray tone. Now, if you notice, this now has picked up quite a bit of pink color to it. See that pink? Okay? That pink color is what you're looking for. Okay? So, this hasn't been cooked. If you wanted to and you feel uncomfortable with doing it from a raw version, you could actually just put it into a little boiling water and just cook it. So it's all done. Look for that nice bright orange or pink color, and you can cook it that way, and then add all your components in. Add your lime juice and add all your ingredients. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to chop me a little bit of cilantro first. Trying to get not too many stems. So I'll just put that down below. Got a few stems, I'll just go ahead and pick those out real quick. Okay, now, again, when you're doing this, when you're chopping herbs, sometimes that's when your worst knife accidents happen, because you get complacent because you're just cutting an herb. Well, there's no time with a knife to get complacent when you're chopping, so you always got to be aware of, you're chopping something, you could cut yourself, no matter what it is, okay? So, very simply, I'm going to just give this a nice rough chop, okay? The cilantro adds a really, really nice flavor, and it's a real nice contrast to the lime and the lemon juice. Get that one other leaf chopped up, nice. Get them all thrown in there. Okay, again, I'm going to fight that temptation. I'm going to merely scoop up all my cilantro there. Okay. Go ahead and wipe down my cutting board. Keep a nice clean workstation. Okay, that's great. So now we're just going to start to build this dish. Very simply, I've got my cilantro in there for some beautiful color. I'm going to go ahead and add in my serrano and my jalapeno pepper. Now, notice how I didn't add everything all at one time? I'm going to hold some back. I may want to add more. You can never take it out, but you can always add more. So I'm going to just give that a quick toss. The star of any show, a little bit of our beautiful Hawaiian pink salt here. Add that. If you wanted to at this point, you could also add some black pepper if you like. I'm actually not going to go that route. I'm going to actually go here. I've mixed in, on your recipe that we posted, actually says hot sauce. I've mixed a couple of my favorite hot sauces here. This is a little bit of sambal, and also mixed with a little bit of Frank's Red Hot, believe it or not. Frank's Red Hot has a nice vinegar texture as well. Very similar to a Tabasco. But I'm going to merely just spoon in a couple of teaspoons of this right in. Now, if I want it a little hotter, guess what? I'll add more in. And how am I going to know that? By tasting it. Again, I'm not going to give you guys a whole lot of rules and regulations while you cook. I'm going to give you guidelines. Tasting is the most critical point of your cooking as you start to explore cooking. You taste your food, taste your food, taste your food. If it tastes good, tastes good, tastes good, it's very, very difficult to make a left turn and it tastes bad. However, if it tastes bad, tastes bad, tastes bad, it's not going to make a right turn and all of a sudden taste good. It doesn't make sense. So always be tasting your food. It's very, very critical. So I'm going to give that a quick mix. I'm going to go ahead and return it back to my ice bath. Keep it nice and cold. Because again, beautiful stew Studio B here at Papakona Restaurant in downtown Kailua Kona. Hopefully we're going to be opening very soon. This is also another recipe we're looking to add to our menu as a potential menu option for our pupus. That's what we're kind of doing, is testing out recipes and showing you guys our beautiful location as well. So that's all done. I'm going to go ahead and set that to the side. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn my attention now to our avocado next. That's going to be the next item up for bid. I'm going to go ahead and take off the label. It's fine. Again, I'm going to merely take my knife, plunge it in, and spin the avocado. Okay? Twist the avocado. Okay? What I'm going to do for this one is I actually have a handy dandy spoon. I'm going to do my lines. Now, be very careful when you put your knife into this avocado this way. It's very, very simple to overdo. You just want to be very gentle. So what I'm doing now is I've scored it vertically. Now I'm scoring it horizontally. I'll take my spoon and just scoop it out like so. And there I have nice little cuts of avocado ready to go. I'm going to just drop those in there now and give those a quick little toss. Okay. So one little quick toss. Avocado adds a real nice dimension to this dish. Okay. And you can also see how beautiful it looks right now. Look at the beautiful bright colors. Okay. Now, I've been talking a long time about that. So what do I need to do at this point? So I can make any adjustments because we're about ready to go to the plate. So, we're going to make this more of an appetizer portion. Now, there's a couple of different ways you can go with this. I'm going to show you one way first off, what you can do with your tortilla. You can make what's called a tostada. Okay? So again, I want to make sure that that's sizzling. It's coming up to temperature, it's starting to sizzle, that's really nice. Now, I'll go back to this over here. Wipe all that down. This out of the way. This out of the way. Okay, very good. So that tostada that's there cooking. So while that's cooking, I'm going to show you one other way, and this is how we're going to present it today. And this is very, very simple. Sometimes people get a little bit intimidated by it, to make your own homemade tortilla chips. It's truly not that difficult. Let me go back to what I've said that I wanted to do and make sure my seasoning is right first. Nice lemony essence, but then you get that taste of the hot sauce next to it. It's fantastic. Excuse me, don't want to be messy on camera, but it's good. So I'm going to go back and turn my attention to my tortilla here. It still has a way to go. That oil probably could have been a little bit hotter. It's heating up now. So to make the tortilla chips, it's very simple. Take your tortillas, cut them right in half. Very simple. Okay? Once you get it in half, I'm going to go for a little bit bigger of a chip. I'm going to just cut them in quarters. Okay? It's going to make for a nice bigger chip. If I wanted to make a smaller chip, hey, cut the quarter in half. Okay? But I'm going to go with all bigger chips today. So I'm going to go ahead and drop these in the hot oil. Cook for a second. Now, again, the question is always the same. How do I know when they're done? How do I know when they're done? Well, the usual answer from me, when they're done. What does that mean, Chef? Well, what that means is they're going to be nice and golden brown. Additionally, if you look right now, they're very pliable, they're very rubbery. I don't think you've ever had a tortilla chip that's rubbery, right? We want it nice and firm, nice and crispy. Okay, so we're just going to cook these really quickly. While that's frying, what better time to show you our beautiful bay here? Once again, we're in our beautiful lanai area where we host all of our events here at Papakona. Weddings, corporate events can all be held here, and that's your beautiful view that you have from our lanai. Fantastic, beautiful day today. About 82 degrees. Gorgeous. So, while we did that quick little tour of our beautiful bay, we'll return our attention back here to our tortilla chips. So, I can already see the color of the first bigger tortilla chip changing as we see it. My flour's ready to go. Flour's ready to go. So, while these are cooking and continuing to cook, I'd also like to tell everybody out there in Facebook land, if there is anything that you'd like to see on these classes of what you'd like to learn how to cook, please send your suggestions our way. I'd be happy to oblige and do anything within my capabilities to teach you how to do it. I have that knowledge to be able to pretty much teach anything. If it's any culture, I can teach it. I can show you how to do it. Okay, so we're letting that happen just a little bit more. The tortilla's not quite firmed up yet. This might have been one of those moments where I would have wanted to do the magic of TV, but we're living and learning here at Facebook Land, our new production of Cooking Live with Chef Chris. So we'll put it into the archives and make sure that we have all these things worked out for future videos. But we're getting there. We're getting there. If I would have had this oil as hot as I had it for those of you that tuned into the crab rangoon, these would have been done lickety-split like that was as well. The oil now is just starting to really come up to a temperature that I need it to be. But again, I'm doing deep frying on this beautiful bay, on this beautiful day. It's fantastic. Under these horrible circumstances though. So I'm going to let that go just a little bit more. I'm going to get my towel ready, because I'm merely going to just put those onto a towel and get off some of that residual oil. I don't want to have all that oil. I also kept my hot sauce out. Put that out to the side. We'll let this continue to go. So once again, I'm really just, I'm feeling for texture, and I'm looking, see how rubbery that still is. It's still not as firm as I'd like it to be. It's actually a good level right now. If I wanted to fold it into a taco, I could do that, but that's not what we're going for today. Oil's still nice and hot, which is great. Okay, so we do have this recipe posted for you online for you to take a look at. And like I mentioned earlier, it is a fantastic dish to do with your children. So once more, I'm going to turn my attention back here to make sure that everything, all the flavors have come together and married real well together. That's perfect. I've got my spoon ready to go. I have my flours today ready to go. So we'll suspend disbelief, and we're going to pretend that this is a firm tortilla at this point. I don't want to have you guys being snooze fest by the chef here. It'll still be delicious. You know why? It'll basically be like a softer, firmer taco, but it's almost not malleable. It's actually kind of tough, and it's actually kind of a lucky mistake for this particular setup here. So I'm going to merely take out some of my ceviche. We'll spoon that right onto the center of that. This would be a ceviche tostada. Okay, ceviche tostada. great. I can revisit my cilantro and take this out now. French cooking. A pluche is one single leaf. So that's what we're going to garnish with. A pluche. One single leaf of cilantro right on top. That looks great. That one's ready to go. Keep that one to the side. I don't want to put this liquid, so I'm wiping this towel off. I'll give this a little garnish. Okay, beautiful flower. There's the first one. And now we'll go to our second. Check our chips. They should be a little bit firmer than that. I'm gonna let those go for just a couple of more minutes. I want you guys to see the color change in them from the white to where they get at least the golden brown color. It's that golden brown color that actually is releasing some of the sugars in the corn and caramelizing. That's what you really want to see. And that's what makes a delicious tortilla chip, is that caramelization of those surface sugars. I can get a little sciencey on you if you like while I'm doing this. That browning of the surface sugars is what's called the Maillard reaction. Okay, the Maillard reaction, or caramelization, actually happens at 310 degrees. So once you get to 310 degrees, that's where you're going to get your browning of your surface sugars. And that pretty much goes for anything. If it's a chicken breast and you make that golden brown color, that's the Maillard reaction, as they call it in French cooking. So my chips are feeling a little bit firmer. I kind of like that. That's actually great. So I'm going to go ahead and just dry them on the towel. I don't want all that residual oil, so I'll let them sit for just a second. Okay. Now, since I am up in the open air here, I am going to turn off my handy dandy little stove. And if you notice, I have my handle out here to the side, so I can't bump it and knock this off. That would not make for a very good day. So normally you can do this on some paper towels, okay? Trying to be a little bit more aware of the waste. So I'm going to just circle out some tortilla chips here, like so. Very simple dish. Okay. I hit those with a little bit of salt as well. Salt makes everything taste great. I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of this now. Put that over to the side. I'm going to go ahead and scoop this out. So like I said, if you are a little bit fearful of doing the shrimp from the raw form, you definitely can do it where you just put it in a little, bring it up to a boil in a little boiling water. And what your goal is you've got to get it turning from that gray color to this beautiful pink that you see here. I don't want to overload that plate. That looks fantastic. Keep this on ice for later. I'll give this a garnish of a flour. I'll give that one a garnish of a flour and not that. I'm going to save that to the side. Now what you can do also is just give it a little bit of hit of the sauce that you did as well. Make it a little spicier. I'll give this one 3 flowers for luck. Okay. So that's the dish. We have a beautiful shrimp ceviche. Okay, right here at Papakona Restaurant in Kailua Kona. Please tune in to us every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for more cooking fun with Chef Chris. We also have our Tuesday, Thursday bartending classes with Tommy, our bar manager, and Rachel Leone, his main bar assistant, and creator of many good drinks here at Papakona. So we're going to continue to bring these to you and keep you informed on the goings-on here and what's going to be happening once we do reopen. So please visit us online at papakona.com. and we have all of our information posted there. We look forward to seeing you again down here real soon. In the meantime, stay in touch with us on Facebook. Aloha.